It doesn't help raising voices both ways. Just assume that people are not talking about you behind your back. Even if you think they are, our burst isn't directly at you. Be assertive enough. I'm talking to myself as well. I'll be almost 3 months in the pharmacy. Patient's point of view, they might not know that you're newly qualified, but they might see that you're new around the area. It's you getting comfortable enough to accept the fact that everybody wants to do their job properly. People not being bold enough to say things in your face. The thing about people knowing that you're newly qualified is the fact that they think you can be a pushover or a walkover or a run over or... Hi everybody, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is MBCism. If this is your first time of logging onto my channel or coming across my channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, share and comment. Today I'll be talking about the need for assertiveness at work. As a newly qualified pharmacist, it is so easy to feel threatened or taken aback by certain things. I'll be talking about assertiveness in regard to your work colleagues, patients and other healthcare professionals. The thing about people knowing that you're newly qualified is the fact that they think you can be a pushover or a walkover or a run over or any overs, but you see, it's not wise to give up that sort of energy or that sort of... at first, to be honest, at first it's like, okay, newly qualified, a bit of timidity. That happened to me quite a few times. I'll be almost 3 months in the pharmacy and working as a newly qualified pharmacist. And I just thought to say this because from a patient's point of view, they might not know that you're newly qualified, but they might see that you're new around the area. If you come into the pharmacy and you're the face they're seeing now, different from the other pharmacists that they've known quite a number of times. So they assume that you probably don't know what you're doing, or they won't get the same treatment, or they prefer the other pharmacist, and sometimes they make you know that, where is the other pharmacist? Or sometimes you're ignored completely and they prefer talking to your colleagues. That happens. I think it's the same way that when patients come into the pharmacy and a different colleague, maybe the dispenser, the ACT, is talking to them, they're like, I'd rather speak to the pharmacist, even if they don't know you. So in that situation, do not take it personal in the sense that, okay, they don't want to talk to me. It's not necessarily as a point of disrespect or as a point of being ignored, but I think because they just developed that relationship in that sense, or they just wanted a pharmacist because they feel that the pharmacist would know what to do, but it's not the case of taking it personal in whatever situation. Then assertiveness as well, when the patients tend to take the doctor's word above the pharmacist's word. Like, oh no, my doctor said I should do this. I trust the doctor more, or I prefer what the doctor said. So, oh, it's nothing to worry about. It's nothing to get angry about or sad about. You're not you're not dumb. You're not less knowledgeable in your field. So in that case, the assertiveness would not be in the sense of, are you trying to say I'm dumb, or are you trying to say I don't know what I'm doing? When you would approach the patient like, okay, that's fine. So what's the advice the doctor has given you? Okay, good. This is my advice. So you still give the patient the advice in the sense of patient safety, not trying to make yourself look right or being defensive. Get what I mean? Then let's talk about healthcare professionals. Assertiveness in regard to healthcare professionals. Sometimes it suggests certain medications for them that would be better for the patient, while sometimes it comes up as if they do not really want to check or cross-check or go over what they're meant to do. So obviously, once you can suggest an alternative to the patient, but for cases that it's obvious that the doctors need to suggest an alternative, you make it clear that, okay, at this point in time, you would prefer if the doctors should check for alternative, then get back to you with what they've suggested, and then you can now say, okay, it's those I would see. There's like, let it be that communication instead of the healthcare professional telling you what to do, if that makes sense. Basically, I'm just trying to say that assertiveness in what you're meant to say, who you're meant to talk to, no, what you're meant to say in regards to the healthcare professional, and how you're meant to approach the healthcare professional, and how the healthcare professional is meant to approach you, the other healthcare, like a doctor or a dentist, or yeah. And also talking about assertiveness, sometimes you'll be approached with situations of faxed prescriptions. You know that that's not a legal prescription based on the MEP. So yeah, you can't really dispense off a faxed prescription. So in that case, if the dentist or the doctor is insisting on sending a fax prescription and deep down you don't want to do it, that's when you have to be assertive and say, sorry, at this point I'm not comfortable. This video is obviously for those that feel shy, timid. At first I was like that, or sometimes I'm like that, but anyways, so it's being assertive because you know what the right thing is, and because if anyone should get in trouble, it's gonna be who? The responsible pharmacist. Yeah, the responsible pharmacist. If anyone's going to get in trouble, so you have that at the back of the mind. So you don't do things that you know that will, you want to come off as nice, but you don't want to put yourself in trouble at the same time. So and then in regards to your work colleague, your local or relief or a permanent staff, in any case that you're working with people, I'm sure people have you probably do trainings in that regard, but like I said, once they know you're newly qualified, some people still treat you, oh yeah, newly qualified, and so what? That person is a pharmacist, like the pharmacist, literally the responsible pharmacist, and they treat you in that respect. But some people literally try to look at you that, okay, she's new in the business, she's new in the pharmacy, or she's new around the area, or she's a newly qualified, a locum, newly qualified, a really pharmacist. She's just been barely a month. So definitely if you tell her what to do, she will do it without questioning it. But to be honest, like I said, if anyone is to get into trouble for that, it's going to be the responsible pharmacist. Yes, they can guide you, they can tell you, okay, this is what you're meant to do, this is what you're meant to do. Then, but for things that are obvious that this is not what you're meant to do, be assertive enough. I'm talking to myself as well. Because I've had situations where I know this is not really what I would do in that situation as a pharmacist, but because these people have been working here, or these people definitely know the area, the community more, or the hospital patients more, definitely, okay, let me listen to them for. But there's some things, like I said, you have to be assertive in. I hope I'm making sense. I think I'm making sense. I'll make an example for near misses. It's one of those areas that it can be so uncomfortable to have these conversations, well, for some people. Me, sometimes, to be honest, your colleague makes a mistake and you're trying as much as possible not to make them feel odd or feel different or feel not comfortable, until like, okay, do I talk to him about it? Okay, maybe it was just a mistake, and you tend to shove it off or not really go through it with them, or call their attention, or let them know that, okay, they made this mistake and they can do it this way, what happened and whatnot, and not really being responsible or taking charge of the situation. At the end of the day, if those near miss logs are missed or keeps repeating itself, it's like it doesn't show off good on you. So that's what you should remember. Actually, to be honest, most of your work colleagues would be fine with you telling them about their mistakes, what to change, what to adjust, the mistakes they've made. Most of your colleagues will be okay with it, but I think it's you getting comfortable enough to accept the fact that everybody wants to do their job properly. So you have to do your job properly to enable others to do their job properly, not in the sense of I don't want to step on people's toes. This is a funny subject to talk on, or how would I approach them? And that's what I was made to understand as well, especially for near misses. Just take charge, let them know. We're all interested in patient safety, so do let them know. Also, most times people's reaction or outburst isn't directly at you. Sometimes it might be directly at you, but it's just best to assume it's not directly at you. Just bounce it off. Sometimes people are going through more than they show off, especially in methadone patients. You might get quite a few of those sorts of behaviors. Tell them off when you can, but also be careful as well not to go into a row with your patients. Just think of the fact that most times people's backlash or reaction to things are not directly at you. To be honest, most times I just smile it off or just keep calm. Sometimes when patients don't get their medication, they're literally in your face thinking that you're the one at fault. It's not ready, it's not ready. Yes, in that sense of assertiveness. Sometimes they literally, like now, they have to order the medication, and so it doesn't sit well with some of them, and they order it and it's not ready, and they get pretty annoyed at the fact that it's not ready. But it's not your fault. The GP hasn't sent it, first of all, and secondly, they haven't allowed time for you to get it ready in the pharmacy. So I think people assume that once it's ordered, they come to the pharmacy, they can pick it up the next day. That's not the case. It usually takes days. So it's getting that message across as well in an assertive way, but also as politely as possible so that the message gets across properly and they don't take too much offense. You understand? It doesn't help raising voices both ways. If one person is raising their voice, a calm and a silent answer chases away wrath. I think that's Proverbs. But yeah, I just had to put it there. Also, in regard to people not being bold enough to say things in your face, but you hear things people are being said, try as much as possible not to get involved. Don't waste your time thinking about what people are saying behind your back. It's just work. People need to keep yourself busy sometimes, and you might be a very interesting personality for them to talk about. Just say it that way. So do not let it get to you that people are talking about you behind your back, or do not pay any mind or assume that people are talking about you behind your back. Just assume that people are not talking about you behind your back, even if you think they are, so that it doesn't get to you. Especially if you're overthinker, you can think that people are talking about you and you start creating scenarios of things that are not even being said about you. And if people are talking about you behind your back, it might be saying stuff good about you, but you might say, okay, why can't they say that in front of my face? But that's just it. Basically, do not overthink about what people might be saying behind your back, whether it's the patient, whether it's your work colleague, whether it's the other healthcare professionals, whatever, in whatever case and scenario. Just focus on the fact that whether they say anything bad or good, as long as they can say it before my face and as long as it's not affecting my work, that's your problem. Do you get it? If you're a newly qualified pharmacist, please don't forget to leave a comment below. If you're provisionally registered, leave a comment below. If you're a pre-reg, leave a comment below. Let me know your experiences, your thoughts. I would love to read it, and we can have a discussion, we can have a chat down below the comment section. Like I said, I will go through a few dispensing errors I've made and some other things once I'm 3 months and a few weeks in the pharmacy. But I hope you enjoyed my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share and comment. Until next time, my name is Ambi C. Kazim.